All right. So, hello and welcome to the first session of the workshop on banking, tax, and American law, organized by Collegiate in collaboration with Boston University School of Law. In today's session, we'll be speaking with Apoorva Panda to understand her perspective on how you can go ahead and build a career in tax law. Apoorva graduated with an LLM in tax law from Boston University earlier this year, and she is currently working as an advanced analyst with Ernst & Young. Apoorva, thank you so much for taking on time for today's session. I'm really excited for our discussion today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm excited as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So just two things before we proceed. Number one, certificates signed by Boston University and Collegiate will be provided to all those who attend all three sessions. Just a reminder that the next session is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Second, Boston University has graciously offered to provide application fee waivers to those of you who wish to apply for an LLM at BU Law. The last date to apply is 15th April if you wish to be a part of their fall 22 batch. The links with these waivers, the codes with these waivers will be sent to all of you. But if you want to expedite this process, please send me an email at info@collegiate.org and I'd be happy to help you out. All right, so without further ado, I will go ahead and put up the questions on the screen and we can kick off the session. This is just to provide a broad structure to today's session. If my screen is visible to you, Apoorva, could you please confirm?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is just to provide a broad structure to the session. If anyone has any questions in the middle, please feel free to unmute yourself. You can use the chat box, whatever works for you, and go ahead and participate in the discussion. All right, so today we'll be talking about a number of things. We'll be talking about how you can build a better profile for a career in tax law, the relevance of work experience, the kind of work experience which you should really seek out, the graduate tax program at BU Law, which Apoorva attended, the employment opportunities that are there in this field. And finally, we'll move on to your experience at ENY, Apoorva. So let's start off with profile building first. So generally, to kick the session off, can you tell us about some internships and co-curricular activities that students can do in law school and even afterwards in order to build their CV for an LLM in tax law?
So firstly, I would say that BU offers a lot of pro bono internships. Since we are all international students, we do have restrictions on where to work. We cannot work in any other law firms or any other profit organizations as such. We only can work in a non-profit organization for a few particular hours. So BU collaborates with few pro bono organizations and we get to work on pro bono activities. However, I personally could not find the time to do an internship as such, but definitely for people who would want to have an experience prior, or people who do not have any work experience in tax law as such, can definitely work with the pro bono organizations, nonprofit organizations in the US, which BU collaborates with, and boost their CV as such. Co-curricular activities, I would definitely say that there are few networking events that BU provides. You can definitely join those. You can get to know a lot of people. Your presence in the fraternity is very important. I would like to highlight that. I would talk about it later as well, but I would definitely say that your presence as a student who is pursuing their LLM in tax law is very important in the fraternity in the US.
Thank you for that, Apoorva. I understand that these are opportunities that are available to one when they're pursuing the LLM. But what about, when you're preparing to go abroad or you're just preparing for a career in tax law? So what are the kind of internships and co-curricular activities that people should pursue in that scenario?
Okay, got it. So internships as such, I would definitely say working in a tax firm, working in a big four, or having an internship there would definitely make a lot of difference because it will give you an insight, and people when they are, or BU when they're seeing seeing your resume would definitely mark that. Having an experience or doing a small internship or having any little focus on tax law would definitely be a huge highlight when BU is taking you as an LLM candidate.
Yeah. All right. So generally, what are the kind of opportunities in tax law that students in particular should look out for during their undergraduate studies in terms of, moot courts or just editorial positions? If you're aware of anything, people should definitely capitalize on when they're in law school.
Right. So opportunities in, I'm sorry, I can hear a resound. I don't
Uh,
know if it is. Can,
it's not audible to me. Sorry.
that's okay. So I would definitely say that in terms of people who want to go in their undergraduate, the kind of internships they would want to do as such, there are various courses given on by various platforms in tax law as such. So I would say that in your undergraduate studies, if you do not have enough exposure towards your tax law in during your BA LLB, if it's a menial course or anything, there are various platforms who offer these certification tax courses.
Okay.
I think pursuing that will definitely give one an insight of a tax law, and two, when you're applying to any LLM university, not just BU or any university, uh, having that certification course, one would definitely help. Two is when you want to work, I mean, there are various, see, there is direct and indirect tax division in India. So depending on that, there are various firms who are offering internships. So definitely look out for those tax internship opportunities during your undergraduate studies. In particular, maybe you, if you do not, if you want to do directly, if you want to apply after, right after your undergrad, you want to apply for LLM, these internships in these tax law firms or in any big fours would definitely help in building your CV and putting it across while applying.
All right. Just to take this a step further, you mentioned that there are certification courses that people can pursue from different platforms.
Right.
Would you happen to know any examples of platforms that people can approach?
Yes, so there I see there are a few CAs, a few CSs who are here, and GST within itself is providing various courses on on these government website, ICMA. All of these platforms are giving various tax certification courses. If not just that, just go to Udemy, just go to any other online certification courses. Having that background in tax law is very important to understand and go further. And it is definitely a boost.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Apoorva. That's a very helpful answer. We'll now move to the next question. And this is something that, a lot of people have a lot of concerns about publications, whether they have enough publications, where they should be writing. So firstly, in your experience, what is the importance of publications in one's application and generally for a career in tax law? And after that, could you tell us some publications that people can write for?
Honestly, I do not publish anything as such. In my CV, I have no publications. I wouldn't say that uh, publications are not helpful at all. They definitely give you some kind of boost, but I don't think it will, not having a publication will push you down as well. I think in terms of BU LLM as well, if you want to publish anything in the US or even in India, there are various platforms which I personally have not pursued publications criteria as such. I have focused more on internships, more on certification courses, things like that. But publications for me, um, I would say that my 2 cents will not give any boost,
All right.
will not be helpful.
All right. And would you happen to know any places where people can get published?
I just know that in India, there are definitely in Tax India Online or Tax Sutra, all these places where the previous firm where I worked in used to publish. There are so many people who publish on those, or SEC or Manupata, they do have, but particularly on Tax India Online, they publish a lot of tax articles.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Apoorva. Let's now move to the next section, which is on work experience. So I understand that you worked for around 4 years before, going for your LLM to BU law. You worked at LKS, you worked at Apollo. So firstly, what kind of work experience should people target before applying for an LLM in tax law?
Right. So for me, why I chose LKS and Apollo, I'd explain. LKS, I was a tax attorney. I was dealing with tax litigation. I'm sitting on one side of the table, understanding what the company works like, how the company works like. Apollo, I was sitting on the other side of the table where I was trying to understand how the company from the inside works like.
Right.
So that was my idea on going on to these two. I would say when it comes to, I wouldn't say put a number to the kind of number of years you need to enter before going into your LLM. But I would definitely say that you need some kind of idea when you're doing tax law, because you cannot go there and not understand, because it's a completely different world.
Yeah.
It is not like a general law. You need to know the logistics. You need to understand the logic behind how tax law works in any country. A
Yeah.
little different. So I would definitely say that if you again want to go directly after your undergraduate, do some internships, have some kind of certification course, or even in your undergraduate, take tax law. Have that kind of some idea of what tax law is before putting
Jump.
yourself there and doing your LLM.
So how do you feel that your experience really contributed to your experience at BU How did your prior jobs and internships, how did that contribute to your experience at BU Because I think a lot of these people, a lot of your peers in the LLM cohort have some amount of work experience, right? So does
Right.
it become difficult to participate in the discussion if you don't have prior work experience? What's your take on that?
I would definitely say that it wouldn't, work experience itself matters a lot for putting yourself out there. I'd say, first of all, with my experience in tax law, I could understand, for example, when I'm studying federal tax,
Yeah.
I could understand the minimal stuff, like, okay, maybe it's not termed as capital gains, maybe it's not that, but I know how it works there and how it works here. I could link it, and it was easier for me to do it. And whereas it comes to my whatever I did in LKS, I did customs there. So it was easier for me to understand international tax because it was cross borders. I knew how they would actually learn. So it was easy for me to link it and understand it better. Because people who are coming right from the scratch, it's difficult for them to make sense. Why is it like that? They have hundreds of questions, but we know the background of how the law is made, why the law is made. I think having that work experience will definitely help you in understanding why this has come up. And it's easier to understand that way.
Okay, so you get the fundamental blocks, and whatever name it might be called over there, whatever different terminology they might be using, the concepts remain the same, is what you're saying.
At least in federal tax, these minimal, I wouldn't say it's entirely the same, but few things you can definitely relate.
All right, thank you for that, Apoorva. Let's now move to the next question. So what do you feel, what is the role of professional qualification? Should people pursue them, qualifications like a CS or a CMA? Do you think these contribute to one's overall career in tax law?
I definitely think it would contribute, because before we enter into tax law in corporates, it's very important for us to know two things. One is how a company works, and two is how do you account these numbers in your books. They are very helpful. If you can't understand those, it's very difficult for you to plan tax. So I think CS or CMA will definitely help in your career in tax law. That is one. Apart from that, I'm aware of the fact that BU does offer masters in tax law opportunities for people who are from the non-legal side. So especially for CS and CMA's backgrounds. So I would definitely say it would really help for people. I guess, again, the same logic would come where maybe the corporations in India are different. There are C corporations and S corporations in the US. It's different here. But your understanding, basic understanding would be the same. Yeah. So that would definitely help. In my knowledge, I think it would definitely help.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Let's now look at the tax program at BU. Let's dive a bit deeper into that. So firstly, can you tell us which universities you shortlisted for tax programs, and how did you ultimately decide that BU Law's tax program was right for you? What were the factors which you considered?
Right. So I have done various researches. I looked at rankings. I looked at the kind of courses each university is providing. I looked at who's teaching what. I looked at that research, and I suggest for everyone to first go through that research, make your mind. I have applied only to 3 universities. I've applied for NYU, Georgetown, and BU. Georgetown, NYU, I didn't get through. Georgetown, I was admitted in a later stage, and BU got back to me in a week. The reason why I chose BU is I love how they approached. I love how they were interested in building my career. I loved how they made me feel that I was important. They made me feel that, okay, you're not just a student, we care about you. That was one of the main reasons why I chose BU. And even after passing out, they still make me feel the same. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm here. So absolutely, I would definitely vouch for that.
All right. Saying that we're kind of in the midway mark of the session. If anyone has any questions in the audience, please, you can use the chat box. You can unmute yourself, whatever works for you, and you can go ahead and participate in the discussion.
I do have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Janvi. So my
Hi.
question was, so like Columbia, when you're applying for master's, Columbia has a specific limit. So they've mentioned that you need to have a 3-year work experience before applying for LLM, which is this is an unsaid rule for NYU as well. So is it something similar for BU or other university like Georgetown? You said you applied to Georgetown as well. So do we need to have work experience? So looking at that aspect, or can freshers apply?
Right. So I am talking in perspective of BU. As an outset, I would definitely say that BU will take a look at people who do have a little knowledge in tax law. Even during your BA LLB, if you have taken that tax law course, or if you have that internship in tax, BU would consider that, take that into consideration for sure. I wouldn't say that, okay, each university works in its own way, but in terms of BU, I would definitely say that you need to have minimal knowledge, at least some insight towards tax law. So if not, if you don't have work experience, it's all right. You have an internship, or did you study tax law courses during your LLB? That would make a difference as well.
Okay,
I
thank
hope
you.
I answered.
Yes, Sridhar, thank you so much.
Just checking the chat. There's nothing in the chat. All
I
right.
had another question. Sorry, could I ask?
Please go ahead. Yeah.
What I wanted to ask was that after you're done with your LLM, and if you want to continue living in the States, what is I heard, I mean, when I researched and I asked a lot of people, they told me that the application for work visa is really tedious, and a lot of employers won't do it for you. So what is a way around that to get a work permit to live in the US and to continue your career over there in tax law?
So post your graduation, you have 1 year of OPT. During that time is the time where you have to get your job. And the point is, they take you if they're able to sponsor you for visa. If not sponsor you, at least give you that H1 permit or H1 petition. I have not worked in the US. I always had an idea of coming back, but I know a lot of my friends who are there right now who have applied through H1 and they are staying there and working and doing their tax jobs. So I would definitely say that it is definitely challenging. It is not easy. None of it is easy, but I wouldn't say that there are zero chances or you cannot stay there. There is definitely just 1 year of OPT, which is challenging. You need to find a job. You need to convince your employers to sponsor for you and all of that, but it's not impossible.
Thank you. Also, could you tell me what OPT is? Because I have no idea.
Yeah, it's something called optional practical training. It is given as a extension to your visa. You need to apply for it, and you have to work in the basis of what you have studied. So you will have like 60 days time to get a job after you get your OPT. And once you get the job, you then, I think, apply for H1B. There is definitely information about that on the BU website. I'd suggest you go and read up that. But yeah, we will have 1 year of optional practical training once you apply for it.
Thank you so much.
All right, I think we can go ahead now. So, okay, just building up on your experience at Boston University, could you talk a bit about the classroom experience and the curriculum of the tax program at BU Law? And I ask you this question in context of what we're saying on the next slide. This is basically a screenshot from the university's website about the GTP program. And it says that we offer one of the most comprehensive curricula amongst taxation programs, with taxation classes offered in the subject areas that matter to today's tax lawyer. So in this context, what was the curriculum like? What were the courses like? And what was your overall classroom experience at BU Law?
I would start off by saying that my first day of class was scary, because it is a Socratic method of training. They ask you questions, not all the time. There's no cold call for LLM students, but definitely there is an interactive session. And since I was new, I was an international student, I had to put all my courage out there to answer.
Yeah.
Cut to 2 weeks later, I was very comfortable. Yeah. And not just in the classroom, I was very comfortable to speak to anybody outside. I think that is one of the main reasons I just loved the classroom environment, because it pushed me to speak, have that confidence, speak what you want to speak, right or wrong. That's a later issue, but speak out. Yeah. So that is one of the main classroom environments which I really loved, where there is that interaction. Curriculum wise, I would say that there is taxation in crypto, tax and technology, which is which is currently everywhere right now. Yeah. Other than that, for international, if you want to do international taxation, there is inbound international, outbound international, there's business and international. Other than that, there is corporate, there is buying and selling, knowing what your businesses are, all of that, life cycle of a business venture. So tax law touches basis of all these, and you can choose from whichever side or whatever you want to pick from. And BU tax law is a 24 credit course. We do 12 credits each semester. Okay. So which is 6 courses, 2 credits each.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. And how did this experience really differ from law school education in India?
Without sounding with a lack of better word, I would say there is no interactive sessions as much as it is in the US. You need to have that interaction with the professor, each and every one, or else it's really difficult for the professor to know you. Class interaction is one of the main grades also that impact. Okay. Class participation helps a lot. In even there are few credits which they give in class participation as well. So you're pushed to do that, and not in a forceful way. You do it willingly, and it really helps you. Right now, I'm able to talk like this is also one of the things that I have learned from there. So I would definitely say that I love the class environment there, and they ensure that you understood. And literally few professors have pictures drawn for us. And where there's cow, there's farm, there's everything. And, you just learn it through that. And it doesn't feel tedious. It doesn't feel like, oh, there's so much to learn. When you're sitting in a 2-hour class, you don't feel like, oh, this is just going on and on and on. It just goes like thin air. So that's one of the amazing experiences I had.
That doesn't sound like a drag at all. It sounds
exactly. I know one of my professors who put he runs marathons. He runs marathons as a bird, and he puts his bird pictures in every slide so that we don't get bored. So it just works like that, and it's so much fun.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Apoorva. So can you write the New York and California bar after graduating with a tax law LLM from BU Law?
Definitely you can write the New York, California bar, but you need to take a 3rd semester. So GTP graduate tax program is a 2-semester course. But if you want to write the bar, then you take the 3rd semester course, since there are a few credits which NY bar or California bar would need. They want you to do certain subjects. Okay. So in order to do those, GTP offers a 3rd semester where you need to do that 3rd semester. So it would be a 3-semester course.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Apoorva. Let's now move to the meat of the session on employment opportunities, a big concern for everyone. So immediately after graduation, what are the kind of employment opportunities that are available to students who have graduated with an LLM in tax law?
So I would say that, do you want me to talk it out in general or in perspective with what BU offers?
I think both works. Yeah.
Okay.
We can first take the
So,
general approach and then move
okay.
to specifics of what BU law offers. Yeah.
Right. So generally, there is just one word that I want to say about this is networking.
Okay.
Networking is your key. Networking will take you to places. You need to sit on your LinkedIn. You need to ask people. You need to go out there and show that there is one person sitting here who is interested to work, who loves tax. It's very important because, for example, in Boston, the tax fraternity, it's small. It's not that small, but you know that everyone is connected to each other. So your presence there is very important. Talk to your professors, talk to people, just ask them on LinkedIn. People will definitely get back to you. Maybe do not just say that I want a job or I'm looking for this. No, at least just know what they want, what they're doing. Are you interested in it? I'm interested in it. Can I know more about it? Can we meet for a breakfast or a coffee or whatever?
Yeah.
They are willing to help you out like that. Go to your professor, speak to them and says, I'm interested in this. Can you help me out? Or is there any opportunity that you're aware of? Go to any tax fraternity, go to any tax attorney, any tax professional. They will at least approach. Them getting back or not is a different issue, but you putting yourself out there will definitely help. So there is just one key thing that I would put across is networking. They should know your presence. They should know how you are interested, what your zeal is, that you want to do tax law, and you will definitely, that you will gain for sure. And apart from that, BU definitely offers various networking events with the big fours or with other tax firms. So attend those networking events, not just in BU. There'll be networking events outside BU, anywhere outside, they will be there. So join those, attend those, know them, and make your presence felt. So that was one of the main reasons.
Yeah, so that kind of builds up to another question I want to ask you later on, but we can just jump to it right away. So what kind of placement assistance does BU Law offer to students in the LLM cohort? And specifically, what are the kind of opportunities that students can expect to find at the tax attorneys recruitment event?
Yes. So when it comes to placement opportunities by BU, it starts off with, first of all, there is a dedicated career cell at BU. You can go to them at any point in time. One, they start off with building your resume, building your cover letter, helping you through mock interviews. So there are various assistance given by that career cell to you. That is one. Two is that TARE. TARE, I feel, is one of the main amazing events by BU. You get all the big fours, you get various companies, you get firms around USA coming and taking whoever is joining BU. I think TARE is one of the best opportunities international students can definitely try out because it is more of on a concentrated level. It is not very generic, and BU pushes people to join that and get your opportunity. So I would definitely say TARE is one of the most helpful event in employment for international students as well.
Okay, so we've heard a bit about the opportunities. What about challenges? What are some challenges that international students face when looking at jobs abroad? We understand that visa issues form a big part of the challenge, but what about other challenges? What are some other issues?
One of the main challenge that you would be facing is definitely visa. But again, you are competing with people who have done their JD and LLM, but you have come there and just done your LLM. That is one of the main challenges I think they would face. Again, a lot of my friends have just done their tax LLM and have great jobs right now. But that I think would definitely be challenging. One. Two is finding a firm that would sponsor you. post few regulations I do not want to mention about, sponsorships have gone back. People are not coming forward to sponsor as much as they used to do it before. So I would definitely say that is another challenge. But I just want to mark and highlight that and say that it's not impossible, guys. I have known so many people who are doing this, and it's never not impossible. Do what you have to do and you'll get there for sure.
Okay, and in terms of just prospects, does a specialized LLM like tax law compared to a general track LLM, does it have better employment prospects? How does it really compare?
I personally feel it does, because tax in the US has a lot of value. There are not many people who choose the specialization in the US. There are people who come from outside and do this. This is my personal view. I feel having that concentrated tax LLM, I have, out of my statistics, I have seen people get more opportunities by doing their tax LLM compared to a general track LLM.
All right. And what about the things that you can do during the year, in order to boost your employment prospects, the kind of opportunities that are available both on campus as well as in Boston?
Again, I would go back to my networking pin that I have, because that's my biggest learning. And that is the one main thing that will push you. I would say there are many bar association events that happen. Join those. There are many legal fraternity or alumni events that happen. Join those. When then comes to BU provided, there are various networking opportunities that they provide. Join everything. Just go to everything, find time and just go. I think every university provides the bar association events that happen, or they do have that tie-up where they do send out mails about, this is the event that's happening for lawyers, this is what is going on here, or on LinkedIn. Just join those, and that would be.
All right, seeing that we're coming to the end of this session, if anyone has any questions in the audience, you can again use the chat box. You can unmute yourself, whatever's comfortable for you. We'll just take a quick 2-minute pause.
Ma'am, when you spoke about JD, so for us as Indian students, I saw a lot of universities offer JD plus LLM. So would that be feasible to take up as an option, or only an executive LLM in tax law?
It would definitely help you if you can afford it and put that time and that kind of hard work into it. Definitely a JD with LLM will help at any point. It will give you better employment opportunities as well. And I think, but the process of going into it would be different, I guess. I think you need to write an exam for it and things like that. So I would suggest you keep that in mind and then go ahead. But career perspective types, it would definitely help.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Please call me Apoorva, please. This is
Sure.
We're all in the professional fund.
Actually, I wanted to ask, I've heard about ADIT and I've heard the prospectus related to it, but currently I'm in 4th year of the law college, and I wanted to start with it. So I just wanted to know your point of view as to when to start it, or to start it after the 5-year is completed and everything.
Sorry, can you tell me what that was?
ADIT, Advanced Diploma in International Taxation.
Okay. So you want to know when you want to start it off?
Yes, ma'am. When to exactly start it off? Because I am currently thinking of doing it with the LLB, pursuing it with the LLB.
Right. So do you want to do your LLM immediately after, or do you want to take a gap and then do it?
I personally wanted to work for a year or maybe 2 years, and then I wanted to pursue LLM.
Okay. So I would suggest that if you can do it right away, then it's great. But when you're working, it definitely, why not? Just while you're working, it would actually help much more, because if you can put so much time right now, great. But if you're not able to, at least you'll have the weekends to study and do your diploma. I hope I answered it.
Yeah, sure. And one more thing, I joined a bit late, so I just wanted to ask another question as well. Like the thing you said, same thing. When to start LLM? Like just after like 5-year completion, or like should we wait for a year or two and get a work experience in the same field and then start with LLM?
I would definitely say that I wouldn't say that have a year or 2 years of experience and then do your LLM. Have some insight over what tax law is. Either do an internship, or like how you said, a diploma, or taking your tax courses in your LLB would definitely help. But have an insight on tax law and make sure you know what tax law is before you apply for LLM.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
No, Apoorva.
Right. I don't think there's anything in the chat. There's nothing. Yeah. All right. We can proceed now. So far, most of our discussions have been about opportunities in the United States. But what about other jurisdictions? Are there opportunities in the field of tax law in countries other than the US?
Yes. My answer would be a plain yes, because the logic is there are various multinational companies which are investing all over, and most of them come from the US.
Okay.
And they do need people who have knowledge in US tax law, who can understand and practice that here. So when you open up job aspects in Deloitte, in Amazon, or these companies, you see people who need knowledge in tax law, US tax law. So I would definitely say that your employment prospects when it comes to corporate level would definitely, or big firm levels, would definitely will increase.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Apoorva. That now brings us to the last section of today's session, which is your experience at EY. Firstly, congratulations. I understand that you recently started working over there.
Thank you.
Great. So can you tell us about the recruitment process at EY, and how future applicants can build a better CV, a better profile in order to boost their chances of securing employment with a big 4 company?
Right. So I again got this opportunity through my networking. I applied at EY in the US, and I've told them my intention to eventually move back to India because I always wanted to. And that's how I got this opportunity, saying that, hey, there is a US GCR team back in India. Why don't you join that if you want to join? So I said, absolutely, I would love it. And that's how I got my opportunity. And I would say that to build your CV, take the courses, first of all, take your courses in the kind of team that you want to go to, firstly. Have that background, because during the interview process or during the application process, they will definitely ask you, which courses have you taken, or what have you experienced, because we do not have a prior background in US tax. We do not know anything. So your GPA, your courses that you choose are the most important factors for them. So I would say that have a great GPA. I wouldn't say percentages and marks are everything, but it's definitely a factor for international students, because that's the only thing that you can show there for applying.
Yeah.
So that is one of the main things. And secondly, I would just say that choose your courses wisely. See where you want to apply, see what are you interested in, and then apply for it. So in perspective of the big 4s or working in the US, these are the main things that you have to show in your CV in what you have done in the US so far.
Okay, Excellent. Thank you so much. And what are your responsibilities and role like? What do you do on a daily basis? And what's the work culture like at EY? Because I think your perspective is particularly valuable because you've also had prior work experience at LKS, you worked at Apollo. So how does it really compare?
So my roles and responsibilities at EY here, I work in a team called USGCR, which is Global Compliance and Reporting. So we do the compliance and reporting work for US companies. We have a team in the US that I and my team that I work with, all of us work together, and we take care of the compliance and reporting part for companies, partnerships, and various other organizations. So this is my work currently, and there is also controversy work. Controversy would be nothing but the notices given by IRS.
Right.
How do you reply to it and things like that. But that would be my main work at EY. Work culture at EY, I would say that my team is amazing. They're always approachable. I think I go to them for the slightest, silliest questions, and they do not mind answering that. And I get to do a lot of trainings, and I'm learning a lot more through those trainings. So it's just been a month, but I love it so far.
And what are your hours like?
My hours are, so there is a fixed timing, but I wouldn't say that since I'm new, I'm stuck to that timing. But whenever, as and when we get work, we have to do it. But there is definitely just a fixed hours that you can work.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so that brings us to the last question of today's session. And this is an all-encompassing question. I want to understand, with the benefit of hindsight, it's been a couple of months since you graduated. How did the tax law LLM at BU Law, how has it contributed to your career as a tax attorney in India?
Yes, so I am doing US tax right now. And whatever I learn is something that I have, even though I have sat in a classroom and heard it already, it's something that I have an intricate knowledge of it, thanks to the way they teach me. Okay. And I'm not clueless about stuff. One. Two is that I'm not scared of asking questions anymore. I'm like, I don't understand this. Can you please explain it to me? That's the kind of confidence that I think BU taught me, that if you don't understand something, just walk up to me and ask. You know, it's okay. Let it be the silliest question. And communication. There is always, I particularly who's very, who wants to know every small thing, I ask the silliest questions, and I do not mind asking them because I'm encouraged to do that. So definitely that helped me a lot. And as a lawyer in India, I think my value has added, you know, even at EY, the way people look at me, oh, tax law, you've done at BU, that's amazing. So that's what I see myself right now, and it's great.
So the market of the degree is also quite significant.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so that brings us to the end of my questions. If anyone has any questions in the audience, please, you can unmute yourself. You can use the chat box and you can go ahead.
I wanted to ask you about the application process at BU. So for personal statements and because when you're applying to any college in the US, the application process is very lengthy. So does one need to have a counselor to help out, or could I do it on my own if I try?
You can definitely do it on your own. I've done everything on my own. I think the key things that I remember so far was, one, having a TOEFL or a IELTS score, two, getting your transcripts sent, three, having a letter of recommendation, and four, your SOP. These are the key things that you need to apply for your LLM. So it is, maybe you would be struggling to write your SOP. That's where I struggled the most. But the process is not as bad as you think it is. You can definitely do it on your own. It's doable.
Just to add to that, Collegiate has a free application assistance program running mostly all throughout the year. So if any of you have any questions about the application process at BU Law as well, please don't hesitate to write to us. We're always available. Okay, so there's nothing else in the chat box. So that brings us to the end of today's session. Just a reminder that, yeah,
Hi, I have one question.
please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, like in India, like I have interned under the office. It was a litigation office, right? So I've heard that in law firms, it's mostly tax advisory, like at EY and other firms. So like how it is different, like if we do an LLM and working with all these compliances and everything, it's more like advisory, right?
Yes.
So like what exactly is the work there in firms?
Like you said, it would be more of a compliance and reporting work that we do in the Big Fours. That is one. And two, like I stated, there would be some kind of controversy work as well. That is, if the IRS sends you any kind of notices or sends the company any kind of notices, you get to state a reply or give any advisory opportunities. So there are two parts for it. One is the compliance and the second is the consultancy. So where you give advisory is different and compliance would be different. Both would work in the same team.
Oh, okay.
All right, then. I don't think there's anything in the chat. There are no further questions then. Okay, so just a reminder, guys, the next session is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Certificates will be provided to all those who attend all 3 sessions. And the last session is on 2nd April. The second thing is that Boston University is providing application fee waivers to those of you who wish to apply for an LLM at BU Law. The link with the code will be sent to all of you. But if you want to expedite this process, you can email me at info@collegeate.org and we'll help you through the entire process. Okay, I think the chat has suddenly popped up. Okay, there's one last question.
Yeah.
Does our internship and work experience give us credits? This might, yeah.
Give credits in terms of academic credits or?
Jinal, you can unmute yourself and ask a follow-up if you want to. He's saying he cannot unmute.
Okay. I just wanted to know, Jinal, if it meant academic credits, then no. But definitely in terms of you having an opportunity to do an LLM will definitely work, but you need to start off your academic credits from the scratch.
All right, I hope that answers your question, Jinal. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, and right. Okay, Apoorva, thank you so much for taking our time for today's session. The answers were excellent and we'll later be sharing the recording with everyone.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure and I hope I answered your questions and I was a little help. Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you.
Janvi, we have another session on, a general Ask Me Anything session about BU Law as well. So I think we can take this question about a GPA and a personal statement tomorrow as well. I think that will be a better fit for tomorrow's session.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If you want to ask it today as well, that's okay with me.
No, it's okay. If ma'am is in a hurry, it's okay.
No, not at all. Please.
No, not at all. Please,
yeah.
please.
So I just wanted to inform you that this is something that we'll be dealing with tomorrow as well. But I'll just read out the question. Following up on the admissions process question, does a solid GPA help or does an SOP?
Both of them help. You need to have a good GPA and as well as your SOP, but give more weightage to your SOP because what's done is done in your GPAs. But having a good SOP matters a lot.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I'll just wait for one more minute because the questions keep popping up. Yeah. There's nothing else at the moment.
I have one last question. I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. Please go ahead. Yeah.
But is there any possibility of transferring to another school after, like, I know this because my brother's studying undergraduate. He's at undergraduate studies in the US. So I know that they have a system of transferring to another school after one semester. So does this apply to masters as well, or no?
I am not very sure of this question, but you can definitely mail to bullm@bu.edu. Shall I type in the email so that if you have any queries regarding applying for your LLM at BU or any other questions, you can definitely go there and shoot your questions.
Okay. I guess I'll find the email address on the BU website.
Yeah, I have sent it as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
It was great talking to you all. Thank you so much for the questions and thank you for giving this opportunity to College It. It's a pleasure. Once again, I have to put this across. And secondly, if you have any other questions or if you ever want to connect, I'm available on LinkedIn as Apoorva Panda. And yeah, feel free to ever get in touch. Thank you so much.
Okay, then I think that is it for today. Thank you so much, Apoorva. It was a wonderful.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for attending. We look
Thank
forward to seeing you tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.